the front, to say the least, for this Melbourne United team. I stand here with Leonard Copeland, a man whose jersey hangs in the rafters. Hey, the JackJumpers, this is a bit of a happy hunting ground.
They love this venue. The Melbourne United are playing fantastic basketball right now. They're 2-0, and the squad they put together just makes them, top of the ladder.
Well, let's have a look at quickly. We speak of the ladder, the Mitsubishi Motors ladder right now. Melbourne 2-0, Brisbane dropping a game last night. The parity through this league is what often makes it so special.
Absolutely, and again, every team is reloaded. Every team has a better player now, so you just never know when you're going to win. You got to play every night.
Well, you're talking about better players. One man who's come into this season better than he ever has before is Matthew Dellavedova. We expected him to come into this league and be a facilitator, but right now, he's one of the best scorers in the league.
Hasn't he changed us? He comes in, he shoots the ball extremely well, shooting from the three. Something we didn't expect. We know he can play defense, but when he's coming out leading a team like the Melbourne United guys, you know you got a chance to win a championship.
Well, you watch these highlights right now, and you'll see so often the defense just stepping back. What they're so used to playing, Dellavedova playing off him, preventing the drive. Right now, he's punishing them every single night.
Absolutely, and teams have to change their defensive scheme, because usually, like you say, we go under screens. I got to go over the top of Delly now.
We've known about Delly for a long time, but one man who's setting his mark on the basketball scene for Melbourne United this year is Luke Travers. Stuffs the stat sheet across the board. A dream for Supercoach owners and a dream for Melbourne.
Something he's done is he's made the big move from Perth, something you wouldn't realize that he would do. But when he came over with a great IQ, great athleticism. He's a smart player, and he can get the job done.
Well, that's Melbourne United. Right there, you see Milton Doyle, one of the biggest recruits in the offseason. Of course, regaining his services this year is invaluable for the JackJumpers if they want to chase the championship.
Absolutely, a smooth player. You seen him the other night, came in, he let the guys do what they do, but when they needed him the most, he stood up. He shoots the ball from outside, he can get inside, he's a smart player, and if the JackJumpers are going to win tonight, they need him firing.
Of course, 21 points for Milton Doyle against the Kings, but it was when he scored them that were the most impressive late in the game in the clutch. One man, again, who's leading from the front for the JackJumpers is Jordan Crawford. A little surprise packet, a bit like Josh Adams of the past, but he's setting his scene.
Felix, what's going on with all these small guys in the league now? Every team's doing it, and I think it's fantastic. You got to be quick enough to guard them, but they can score like none other.
Talk about small players. You were telling me off court that you reckon you post them up if you were playing in the league still.
Let me tell you something, bro. If I was playing now, I'd be posting these little guys up.
Give us, I want your final. Who's going to win and why tonight?
I think Melbourne United will win by 10 plus because it's such a great crowd. They got 10,000 plus, and they're rolling.
Well, we're set for a big game. The JackJumpers, they enjoy playing here, but Melbourne United, so do they. John Casey, take it away.
Thanks very much, Felix. Well done there to Cope. So I've got Liam Santa Maria and Alan Sauce Williams here with me in commentary in the Melbourne starting five. Liam, well, it is chock full of talent.
It sure is, Case. No change from the group that has started their first two games and got the chocolates. Luke Travers, his matchup with Jack McVeigh today is going to be fun to watch.
And Sauce, look, they're hard to beat, but Tassie come here with no fear. They've won 4 of 5 here against the heavyweights, and their starting five can get the job done as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They're starting at the point guard with Jordan Crawford. Obviously, you have Milton Doyle there, one of the best backcourts in the league. Finishing up with Drimmick, McVeigh, and Marcus Lee to play at center tonight. Should be a good one.
Marcus Lee against his former team is a nice look as well. So we are set to go from John Cain Arena. Melbourne, the only undefeated team left in the competition at 2-0. But the Tassie JackJumpers have made this a happy hunting ground in the past, where they've won 6 of the 9 games. So the newest member of the NBL family against one of the heavyweights, and they've had their number, Liam.
Yeah, they have. And of course, we remember what they did to Melbourne in the semi-finals a couple of seasons ago. Their first year of existence, that Game 3 at John Cain Arena, Josh Adams in the corner. They have fond memories of this place.
Beat Melbourne twice in pre-season before the Blitz as well. As we get underway, Melbourne United control the tip. To the right of your screen, and a chance for them to open scoring. Averaging 82 a game, which is 9th in the competition. But they go to Golding, who's had 31 straight games of hitting a 3. Now he's got 32 straight.
Boom, the man himself, Chris Golding, getting the Melbourne United fans on their feet tonight. A great way to start for Melbourne United tonight.
It's a good sign when he's hitting early. 26% this season, Chris Golding. We know he's much better than that. JackJumpers with a couple of chances there. Doyle couldn't convert. Lee couldn't make the offensive rebound tumble either, but here's Dellavedova exploring. Hook Porty takes on Lee, works to the left hand, just couldn't finish it. Shea Illy tried to keep it alive, unable to do so.
You see Shea Illy on the deck. It doesn't take long for him to put the hustle on display. Here you see the initial action from Melbourne. Beautiful look for Chris Goulding, and he opens his account. The matchups in the backcourt are going to be fun to watch in this one. You got Illy trying to guard Jordan Crawford there, and Matthew Dellavedova on Milton Doyle.
Corner ball, it's all the bottom of the net. And the JackJumpers get underway through Crawford.
That's one thing Crawford definitely knows how to do, is put the ball in the basket. Everywhere he's been in his career, he's been able to score the ball effectively, and the NBL season this year is no different.
Travers, off glass, can't convert. Lee had it, but then lost control of it. Outside, firing unsuccessfully, Dellavedova. Again, they keep it alive. Well done, Hook Porty. Goulding, so another O-board for Melbourne. Dellavedova in a mismatch against Lee, needs help. He's got Porty double team, nothing on offer. They did that well. Good perseverance from Doyle with Lee in tandem.
Just needed to kick that out. Hook Porty, illegal screen called on Marcus Lee. Has a fair bit of trouble with fouls. Hit Marcus Lee. It was an issue for him last season for Melbourne United. It's been an issue already early this year. Just the leg out of the cylinder there, cleaning up Dellavedova, and he picks up his first personal.
The thing with Marcus Lee, too, I really do think he's one of the better big defenders in this league. And if he could just stay out there and stay out of foul trouble, he'd definitely be way more effective for those guys.
Dellavedova fires off the mark. Doyle grabs the rebound. Almost 2 minutes played. Neither team lighting it up at the moment. Melbourne 1 of 5 from the field. JackJumpers 1 of 3 as they warm to the occasion here. Crawford work to an opening, gets another good look and punches down another 3. Tassie take the lead for the first time. In fact, it's a 2.
He's so electric coming off those ball screens. You got to be up. You got to be up. But you don't want to be too high because he'll just drive right past you. So.
Dellavedova, Illy, it's on the deck, good first step. Active hands by the JackJumpers though. Drimmick feeds it outside, and a chance now as Doyle brings them back up the floor. Drimmick, McVeigh. Works on Travers into the paint aggressively. Travers shut him down and throws it out of there.
That's the length of Luke Travers. He has so many different ways he can be effective defensively, and there, sliding his feet, aware of the craftiness of Jack McVeigh, and just the length to be able to send that away.
5th season in the competition for Luke Travers, and continues to improve as well. Been good for Melbourne so far. From outside, McVeigh's off the mark. And Dellavedova exploring. Travers in support. Goes back to Illy. Now gets it back. Go inside. Hook Porty with a mismatch here. In terms of height, got the advantage on Doyle, who reaches in. And a quick spin move. They're going to count a chance at a 3-point play.
Just right there, next star Ariel Hook Porty getting the mismatch he wanted against Milt Doyle. He's been trying to explore that early on into the game. You can see United trying to have a really conscious effort to get him the ball on the block. Just takes it, very patient, good feet, rips through, and gets the end one on the continuation. Great time, great play.
Flynn Cameron checks into the game for Melbourne United. Been impressed with him so far as well. 6 points, 4 boards on average.
Yeah, he's been good. Flynn Cameron, early run for him in this first quarter. 3 of 6 from long range across the opening couple of games. So he'd be feeling confident, shooting the ball well to begin his first pro season.
Melbourne back on top after Tassie had enjoyed a 5-0 run. Penetration, unable to convert there, Anthony Drimmick.
Great take by Drimmick there, but I just think United's length this season is really going to affect a lot of people driving to the basket. And you see there Travers and Hook Porty's big arms up there. It's tough to make that shot.
And Joe Luala-Chul yet to arrive. Well, he's arrived, but yet to play. So add that into the mix. It's going to be difficult. So shot clock to single digits here for Crawford. Left him alone down to the baseline. Doyle elevates. He's off the mark. So they're 1 of 3 from long range. Kept alive by McVeigh. And Doyle just mishandled it there. And Melbourne are back after it here. And chance to go quickly. And why not when you've got range like Chris Goulding does?
Well, he loves it in transition, doesn't he? Chris Goulding heads up, kick ahead from Dellavedova after Doyle spilt it. And Goulding ready to fire.
6-0 run. Hook Porty forced a foul there. Elevation was good. Nice play from Tassie.
Yeah, just coming down here, like you said, Liam, Chris Golding in transition is his favorite time to shoot the 3-ball. And just gets one up there. And then on the other end, Jordan Crawford off of a ball screen from Marcus Lee, getting downhill and trying to get that dunk on Hope Porty. Got the foul instead. So.
So Marcus Lee to the free throw line. It's 1 of 3 so far this season. Hasn't been his strong suit. Also playing with Melbourne last year, just 56% in the free throw line.
I think Hungry Jacks might be on offer case.
Big crowd.
I reckon
I'm getting more confident now.
We might get some burgers here early on. Early on.
Significant adjustment required.
Fans might be disappointed. And they get it. Burgers straight away here. Code word is feed. Get to the NBL app and enjoy. Courtesy of the former Melbourne player. At the other end, they're throwing it down Hope Porty.
They're having some trouble with their coverages, Tassie, and Melbourne are slicing them up a little bit here early as a result. That was easy. Quick slap on, drag screen in transition, and Hope Porty's open at the cup.
8-0 run now, so those missed free throws are becoming expensive. Just in terms of trying to get some momentum as well. Doyle off the mark. And now a foul going to be called on Lee, his second personal.
Yeah, we were just talking about the foul trouble with Marcus Lee. Tassie has to be able to rely on that strong 5-man presence, and he's just not able to stay on the floor long enough for these guys right now. So an adjustment definitely needs to be made.
Need to make an adjustment at the offensive end as well. The JackJumpers, Doyle none of 4. Tassie 2 of 9 as a team at 22%.
Well, this is a tough defensive outfit, Melbourne United.
Best in the comp, statistically.
Well, they kept Southeast Melbourne at 67. They kept Adelaide at 74. 6 of their 8 quarters, so far they've kept their opponents into the teens. And that's what every team's trying to do quarter after quarter. So they're off to a terrific start defensively this campaign.
Absolutely, too. And I also think that the identity of the JackJumpers is the never die mentality, the fight hard mentality, the dive on the ground and get those 50-50 balls. If you're watching the game now, you're seeing that Melbourne is winning that 50-50 ball battle, and the score is showing that.
Well, they pride themselves on that as well. Now, we're just adjusting the score here because this was given a 2 by the referees initially, Crawford. It was his second triple, but it's now been adjusted back to a 3. So there we have the equation. It's a 5-point lead, but they've scored the last 8 here, Melbourne, at the moment. And United turn it over. Stepping out of court, so
Source, Marcus Lee checks out with the 2 early fouls. And in comes Fabian Krislovic. Now, he's really a power forward, but he's played a lot of centre for this JackJumpers team over the last few years, with injuries to Will Magnay and Marcus Lee getting in foul trouble. What's he like to go up against in that 5 spot?
Fab he's difficult to play against just because he's going to play harder than you. That's his mentality. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to outwork you, I'm going to surprise you with a 3 every once in a while and an offensive rebound here or there. And so right on cue, I'm guessing. Oh, he didn't get it, but he was definitely going after it. He's definitely somebody you got to keep your eye on for sure, and he plays hard.
No chance for Flynn Cameron here. Uses low, in turn Golding, who's the only starter on the floor at the moment because Ian Clark's out there as well, making his debut for Melbourne. And he's another player that Alan Williams has played against, but not in our NBA. We'll talk about that later. Crawford's been leading them a merry dance at the moment, and he's got all 8 of Tassie's points.
He's just electric, you know. He's primetime television every time he's on your screen. He's a joy to have in the NBL this season because of his scoring ability, and it's on full display today.
You know, he led the league in Turkey before coming here as leading scorer. And they need everything he can provide at the moment. He's 3 of 4 from the field, has 8 points, and the JackJumpers can't find anyone else to score at the moment, but they don't need anyone else to score because he's dragged them back to within a single point.
He's rolling. He's having a very good time out there in the first quarter. So it's Melbourne United 11, Jordan Crawford 10.
13 points on debut, 15 in the second game, and then against Sydney for Crawford. Outside shot, all the bottom of the net now again for Melbourne as Cameron continues his good form. 3 of 6 from deep, Melbourne. They lead by 4. Less than 4 minutes out from quarter time. McVeigh gets down low and opens his scoring account.
Yeah, that's the Jack McVay special, that fake handoff to drive to the basket and gets to the basket there before a left-handed layup.
There you see it on the Harvey Norman replay. Jordan Crawford just going to work. Just a saucy reverse layup. And then gets to his spot off the ball screen. A little drops coverage there for Jordan Crawford, and he's happy to rise up in the mid-range.
We call that drill work, Liam. That's drill work. That's the stuff that you practice in the gym over and over, those kind of coverages, and he's really executing it well today.
Clint Steindl checks in for the JackJumpers as well, the captain. It's Melbourne on top. It's the first three of the game. Mazzilli picks up the dribble. Golding. Shot clock to single digits now. Out by McDonald. Shakes him. Now Majuk Deng takes over. Golding behind the back. Bowen decides to fire. Another textbook shooting action. This is the target, so 3 of 7 from deep. Taking 12 shots, Melbourne, and 7 of them have been from long range, and they've won it back here with good hustle.
Yeah, here Melton Doyle bringing the ball up, tries to get the ball to Fabian Kristovic there. Good hands by Shea Illy, and a great wall up by Bowen, I think, there to get that off of, what was that? Excuse me, off of Fabian Kristovic's leg. Sorry about that.
So inside the last 3 minutes, Shelley was so good at the World Cup for New Zealand and has brought that form here to the NBL. Apart from his shooting, which is eluding him at the moment, in terms of the hustle plays and getting to the free throw line, is Bowen forced into an extra pass and couldn't find Lowe. It's cut out by Milton Doyle here. So 4 turnovers for Melbourne, which is a high number by their standards. They average only 9 to be the best in the competition. To have 4 in the opening quarter is not normally on the menu.
But we sing the praises of Melbourne United's defense. This Tassie defense is rock solid as well. And they're coming off a really good performance at home the other night. They kept Sydney to just 72 points. And that's a high-octane team that's looking to run up some numbers. So, you know, under Scott Roth, they're going to control the tempo. They're going to be tough defensively. And there's a chance that this could become a bit of a grind in that regard.
Sydney coming your way a little later, hosting Adelaide in the second of our double-header games here on NBL Sunday. Majuk Deng being aggressive. I like the fit with Majuk Deng down in Tasmania. Brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, I do too. He's a veteran in this league and shoots the ball really well. Not afraid to put the ball on the deck to get to the basket as he did there against Luke Travers. He's just a really good piece for this Tassie identity.
Okay, so as an Adelaide man, you'd remember very fondly Majuk Deng on this court in the 2018 Grand Final Series 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and he was on fire that series. I mean, he was quite high in the voting for Grand Final MVP.
Yep.
He was doing the Wakanda Forever celebration on the regular. It felt at that time he was a genuine star of the league in the making.
For sure.
It hasn't necessarily quite reached those heights.
No, and I think, a victim of circumstances to a certain degree. I don't think he should ever have left Adelaide. They would have loved to have kept him. Cairns offered him a better deal, and I don't think he got the opportunities there that he might have got if he stayed in Adelaide. And so, but I think he can resurrect his career. Not resurrect it, because it certainly doesn't have to be resurrected, but I think he can be big this year for Tassie. I like what Scott Roth does with recycled players. Travers off the mark. Lowe had a couple of grabs at it, and now Travers loses control and out of court.
And then speaking on Deng there, his length, his ability to affect the shot with his length is going to be huge for this JackJumpers team this year, and that's a perfect example of it.
Played at the World Cup for South Sudan, which was the great story. Now going to the Olympics in Paris next year. So he's 30 years old now, Majuk Deng. 8th year in the NBL. There's McDonald. Baseline. Nothing on offer there for Junior Maduit. Playing good D here from Melbourne, just making it tough for Tassie to get anything happening. Turnaround from Steindl off the mark. So the shooting woes continue for the JackJumpers. 36%, 5 of 14 from the field. Illy hands over. Quick release from Lowe. Off the mark. And Tassie get it back and a chance to retake the lead here. So defense winning out at the moment in a low-scoring opening quarter. Both teams in the 30s in terms of shooting percentages. Outside, Deng right in front of the bench. Got 2 pieces of the rim, but wouldn't work for him.
If you're Tassie, you'll live with that look all day. Great pass from Fabian Kristovic today.
Pushing the issue there, Shane Illy. Cut He's up with the points, his first in the game. 1 of 20 from the field coming into this game, Shea Hilly. 1 of 13 last week, in fact 2 of 20 at Lock. 1 of 7 in the first game, 1 of 13 in Adelaide last week. That's a confidence boost for him. Penetration was good there from Chris Levick. Wanted to hand it off to Juk Deng. And another ball back. Asking for a review, but Scott Roth not buying into that. And Melbourne will get it here.
Defensive stalemate we have going on in this first quarter here. It's not typical you seeing that in the NBL these days, but both of these teams are great defensively, so it's to be expected.
Clark looking for his first points for Melbourne United, draws contact. He's off to the free throw line. 5th team foul on Melbourne, on Tassie as well.
Here's that bucket from Illy. Look at the punch screen here from Rob Lowe. Up the floor, just turns the awareness. Hey, I'm going to get my point guard open as he's coming down the floor, and it opens the lane, forces the switch, and Illy's able to get right to the rim.
So Ian Clark to the free throw line, looking for his first points for Melbourne United, having previously played in Adelaide last year. He came in mid-season and played 10 games, and prior to that, a championship winner with Sydney in 2022. And championship winner with the Golden State Warriors in 2017, and just around the time Alan Williams was in the NBA as well and shared the court with Ian Clark, who were reminiscing a little earlier.
Yeah, and I had a career high in rebounds against the Golden State Warriors that night.
17!
17 in there, but no, Ian Clark is a winner, has won everywhere he's been. Obviously, his success in Sydney, his success in Golden State, and hopefully now for the Melbourne United fans, he can help to bring one back for them.
16 points, 17 rebounds. How many steals that night?
4 steals.
Oh, yes, sir.
It was a good night. It was a good night. I was rolling.
Off the bench too, if you don't mind. Limited minutes, just making things happen. Tassie slow it down here. Outside shot, and it works. Boy, do they need that. First points in the game for Chris Levick, after Melbourne had opened up a 5-point edge, and on the buzzer, launch from deep. The quarter time arrives here, and Melbourne enjoy a 2-point buffer. At quarter time at John Cain Arena, Melbourne 18, Tassie 16 in the first of our NBL doubleheaders today. Stay with us, we've got a lot more coming your way right after this. Welcome back to John Cain Arena. Game one of our doubleheader, Melbourne and Tassie. And it's great this season. We're excited to welcome Mitsubishi Motors back. The fans are celebrating in stadium with the Mitsubishi Motors three-pointer foam hands as we see Golding and Crawford light it up from deep. And this season, there's a range of prizes up for grabs every week, including a brand new Mitsubishi Pajero Sports. So get around that. Great to have Mitsubishi Motors back on board as well as we get set to go here. Term number 2. Tassie with a possession arrow, but down by a couple of points. Had their moments. It's been a grind so far. Liam Santamaria and Alan Williams are with me. What have you made of it so far?
Definitely been a grind, but it has been the Jordan Crawford show here in this first quarter. He's really the only one to really keep Tassie afloat right now as he takes his first shot of the quarter and misses it.
And it's Milton Doyle, his running mate in the backcourt, that they need to get going. You know, he's been the guy 20 points per game or so the first couple of games, and he was OFA in that opening term.
Leonard Copeland's courtside. I was listening in with the Jack Jumpers during quarter time. What did you make of it, Leonard?
Yeah, Case, Roth was all about getting Crawford better screens, coming up a screen, and if he's open, let it go. He talked about down screens, he talked about cross screens. Let's try to get this guy going.
4-point edge as Porty adds to his tally. Here's Crawford feeding outside. Deng from deep fires off the mark. Majuk Deng. So
here's the Harvey Norman replay. Beautiful bounce pass from Travers. And they're making a focus of Hook Porty. He's been able to cut loose a couple of times on those dives towards the rim.
Especially now, look to go to him, especially without Marcus Lee being in the game for Tasmania.
2 fouls in the opening quarter for Marcus Lee against his former team, so he's got problems. Has to sit at that moment. From close range, the finish is good there from Dellavedova. So his first points in the game. And the trend is worrying if you're a Jack Jumpers fan at the moment. Marching out to game-high 6 points as they go to Krislovic, and he peels off the triple. Nice way to open his game. That's his second 3.
Yeah, Fab's getting it done right there on that pick and pop. He's knocked down 2 threes for those guys now, and so it's a good opportunity for him to steal some extra minutes on the court while Marcus Lee's in foul trouble.
Saw him destroy the backboard in Tasmania as well in pre-game.
Yeah, if you told me somebody broke the backboard in the pre-game, it would have taken me a few names to get there.
Yeah, you would have thought it was me. You thought I took the train, took the plane down there and got it done there. But no, Fab he's stronger than he may have seemed, I guess.
Vice captain this year. No nonsense, isn't he? He just brings it every night. What do you need me to do, coach? I'm getting in there and I'm going to produce it for you. 6 years, almost 150 NBL games. Really like him.
Yeah, he was a really savvy pickup when they first got going by the Jack Jumpers. You know, you've shown a little bit in Cairns and, you know, just a real sort of meat and potatoes type blue-collar operator. And they wanted those type of guys to begin their franchise. Krislovic, Bairstow, especially in the front court. Big, strong, grown men who are always going to give you 100%.
That guys do not like playing against either, for sure.
Yeah, the recruitment's been outstanding down in Tassie for a new franchise. Let's see what we can come up with here. As McVeigh hands over Doyle. He's had the best of it so far. They've made him a focus. None of 4 from the field, but now we're underway.
And that's just what he can do, you know, that it's going to open up for him. He just had to see one go through, comes off the ball screen there, knocks down his patented mid-range jump shot.
Foul called on Jordan Crawford. That's the 7th foul overall called on the Jack Jumpers. Putting 2 quickly here at the start of the second. 2.5 minutes played in the second. Restart from Tanner Krebs. Dellavedova wants to take Crawford on. He tried to pull the chair on him. Found a way past, but couldn't convert it. Crawford, wraparound pass. Doyle is going now, and this is what can happen.
He's not going to stay quiet all game long, Milton Doyle. And he's now feeling good. A couple of knockdowns. Doesn't take much to get him feeling good once again. So both Crawford and Doyle up and about.
Excellent work as well there from Travers, who opens his scoring account in style. I've been impressed with what he's produced for Melbourne so far. Small sample size, I know. He looks as though he's a better player already.
Just so versatile, you know. He's great defensively and does so much for them on the offensive end as well. He's got all the tools in the kit for sure.
Averaged 10 and 6 with the Perth Wildcats last season. Right now he's averaging 16 and 9. So his induction into the Melbourne United seems to agree with him as well.
Yeah, and you've always got to look right across the box score with Luke Travis.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the eye test watching the game, but the 3 assists a game, the 1 block a game, half a steal. Now, obviously, it's the tiniest of tiny sample sizes, but he's just an all-court contributor.
Having watched him from courtside in Melbourne, in Adelaide last weekend, I think people underestimate his size as well. He's a strong man. He's a physically imposing person. It's a nice finish again as Melbourne continue to have the answers here. The margin is 4. Almost 4 minutes played in the second. McVeigh trying to get going. Just 2 points for him so far on 1 of 3 shooting. Showed them a bag of tricks. Eventually couldn't find the target.
That goes to show you Travers' defensive versatility there. He gets beat on the play, gets a spin, jumps out of position, but is still able to stay there and contest a wall up.
Continuation waved away there. Now going to be called on Ariel Hook-Porty.
They're the kind of players Hook-Porty's got to show a little bit more poise. Looks up, sees Madut coming across, and had time to make a bit of an adjustment and says, you know what, actually I'm just going to try to go over you and through you, and it was an easy call for the official.
Second personal now for Hook-Porty. Fouled out last week in Adelaide. So quite an arm wrestle continues here. See Jacob Chance, the assistant coach with Melbourne now against his former team.
That's a head coach in the making.
Yeah.
Jacob Chance. Very, very highly regarded out of Perth. That's why Scott Roth snapped him up in Tassie, and Melbourne really excited to have him on deck. And of course, Dean Vickerman, the Dean Vickerman coaching tree, as Crawford can't hit from 3. They've been producing head coaches, right? Simon Mitchell and Mike Kelly, and now Justin Schuler, and Jacob Chance is the next guy in that line.
Reece Carter alongside him as well, emerging coach in the NBL. So middle stages of the second. Neither team really able to get away here at the moment. Although Golding falling away, comes up with another 3. He's got 9 in the game to lead Melbourne. And the margin is out to a game-high 7.
He does that so well, Case. Is just violent hands to get himself open and create his shot opportunities. It's the best in the league, for sure, with his hands.
17th season in the NBL. It's going stronger. So is this man at the moment. Crawford gets his first score in this quarter, but he's up to 13 to lead the game.
Some very fun shot makers to watch. You know, we talked about the defense, but Crawford, Doyle, Golding, all guys who can create their own looks and look very smooth doing it.
Shea Healy got a little deep. Doyle with it on the accelerator, but wall of defenders there. He wants to take them on, though. Attracted all the attention. They couldn't make something of it around the perimeter. Look, Crawford trying to get Healy to bite on that. Gets a penetration. Kicks outside. McVeigh with a good look off the back of the rim. But I'll get it back here. And Crawford says, I'll go again. It's off the mark as well. Kept alive. Well done, Marcus Leach. He's doing a good job on the O-boards there.
And that's the effect he's able to have when he's able to be on the court for the JackJumpers. I think, again, him staying out of foul trouble is going to be the barometer on how far this JackJumper team can go this year.
And this is why Dean Vickerman wants to call timeout, because they watched the game against the Kings the other night. They know how Tassie go about it under Scott Roth. If you let them get offensive rebounds, then you're a chance to lose to them. And that's what they destroyed Sydney on the offensive glass the other night.
There's a lot to like about the way they go about it, the Tassie JackJumpers, and put on a great show. If you haven't been to a game down in Hobart, get down there and enjoy it. The atmosphere is fantastic. And the way they recruit, we spoke about it earlier and touched on it. I think they've done a really good job, and the players they brought in this year, I think Drimmick's a good fit for them, like Majuk Deng being there as well. So a lot to like about them, but a lot to like about this man as well. Let's go courtside to Felix von Hoff.
Oh, you're too kind, John Casey. Now, I just want to touch on an incident that happened last night in the Sunshine Stoush, Brisbane versus Cairns. Now, Aaron Baines, if you haven't seen the footage, got incensed at a missed call on a rebound. There was elbows going back and forth. You can see the footage now. Now, a pretty unassuming incident. I'm joined by ESPN insider Olgun Ulich here. This was the on-court incident, but it's what happened when the cameras were array and the players entered the tunnel, Olgun, that a bit more of a fracas occurred.
Yeah, my reporting at ESPN is that there was a physical altercation at halftime between Aaron Baines and Cairns Taipans head coach Adam Ford. After all the teams went back to the locker room, those two came together in some way. There was a physical altercation that ultimately led to Adam Ford allegedly being either thrown or pushed against the wall.
Now, of course, we have to stress that we don't know who instigated this incident, whether it be Aaron Baines or Adam Ford. Adam Ford known for protecting his players at all costs. But where to from now? Obviously, the NBL is going to seek the footage, and there's going to be a tribunal of sorts, and there's going to be repercussions from this incident.
The NBL is currently investigating it. They are in the process of obtaining the vision of that incident and collecting statements from people involved. They want to know who instigated this, what actually happened. They've heard things from both sides. They want to find out what happened.
Well, thanks, Olga and John Casey. Obviously, more to come, but the Sunshine Stoush living up to its namesake right there.
Now, they always put on a very fierce contest when those two teams collide, whether it's in Cairns or in Brisbane. So much rivalry up there for the Queensland bragging rights as Doyle switches to the left hand. Bit of very good job to come up with the finishing touches there.
There he goes, Liam. You see Milton Doyle filling it up now. What is he at, 7 points? Let's see how many he can get this quarter.
A 4-0 run. Tassie, they've steadied the ship here. Shot clock now to 7. Illy exploring, confronted by Lee. Couldn't finish it. And whistle on the play. Foul going to be called on Jack McVeigh, I believe. So it's going to be a 4th team foul on Tasmania in this quarter. It is on McVeigh. That's his first person.
Well, that was quite a report from Olga Norwood, wasn't it?
Very much so.
What he said there about Adam Ford being allegedly pushed or thrown up against the wall. There's going to be a lot to unpack. There's talk of trying to track down the security footage. We're going to hear plenty more about what took place.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a player in situations where things can potentially get heated at times, there's so much that goes into our everyday lives that people don't get a chance to see. And so when stuff happens like that, you got to go and you got to really check and make sure that all the teammates and everybody is coming together to try to figure out the best way to move forward. And so hopefully it ends up being not as bad of an incident as we're hearing now, but if that does become the case, hopefully help can be given to those guys in need that need the help. So.
And that's the most important thing when that's required. You see the Australian Basketball Players Association do a terrific job of that now with those support resources. Let's go courtside to Leonard Copeland.
Yeah, fellas, Dean Bickerman in that timeout was adamant that the guys need to box out. There's too many offensive rebounds. He said we're swinging the ball quite well on the offensive end, but if we're working that hard on the defensive end, it doesn't matter. So you got to box out.
And the JackJumpers with 5 boards at the moment. They had 20 against Sydney.
Yeah, and when you give up those possessions where they get 2 or 3 or 4 bites at the apple, then you know, you're really digging yourself a hole. So he's trying to nip that in the bud, Dean Bickerman.
Melbourne to expand their lead at the moment. A good D from Tassie again. They shut down Dellavedova and forced them into a shot they probably didn't like. And a chance now for Drimmick, zigzagging his way up the floor. Yet to score, Drimmick has only taken the 1 shot, and already you can see his role changing, or his playing style changing under Scott Roth. So the shot clock rolls to 5 here. Doyle picks up the ball. Crawford, danger man, outside. Good look. Can't convert. And the ball knocked down out of court. Last touch by Travers.
Well, I dodged a bullet there, Melbourne United, because leaving Jordan Crawford open like that, Delhi creeping over to help out on Milton Doyle on the nail there and leaving Crawford open on the weak side.
And that's one of Milt's more underrated abilities, is his passing ability. And finding Crawford there is a perfect example of that one.
So inside the last 3 minutes of the first half, low-scoring affair from John Cain Arena. But it certainly hasn't been short of excitement. How about that from Drimmick?
I mean, that's what you have to do. You have a player like Chris Golding, who's known not to be as great of a defender as we have in the league here. So you got to attack that opportunity, and Drimmick's obviously capable to score the basketball with Chris Golding holding.
7 unanswered points here from the JackJumpers, and right back in the frame. But Golding knocks down his 4th 3 of the afternoon. Take that.
He says, all right, big sauce. Okay.
I felt that one, Chris. I felt that one.
Ears were burning.
Let's see what I can give you down the offensive end of the floor.
That's where he gets paid the big bucks for.
Absolutely. 3 over 2 any day.
4 of 6 from long range. Golding has 12. Only Crawford with 13 has more in the game. And this has been more entertaining than 34-31, the bottom line might suggest. Well, look at Crawford taking them on, going back to work, outside to Doyle with the open look. Can't convert, so Milton Doyle is not having his best night. 1 of 5 from long range, 3 of 11 overall from the field as Illy hands over to this man who's unconscious at the moment, Golding. The heat check. So they haven't been afraid to spray it up at the moment. Tassie have taken more 3s than 2s in the game. As we have a little over a minute out from the first half. Got in the air, long way to go. And he found Krislovic. So Rob Lowe picks up the foul.
His tough whistle on Rob Lowe. Turns around and just kind of bodies up on Fabio and Krislovic. And the official plucks one out. Lowe, a little bemused. Krislovic goes to the strike. Sauce, you mentioned Chris Golding, and you just spoke a little about his work at the defensive end of the floor. But you know, around the league, you have pick-on guys, right? Like in the locker room, on the scouting report. Brady Manick in Perth was one of those guys that you'd like to go after. I guess you look at players around each team and say, if we can go at him, we're going to look to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's certain players out there that just don't have the defensive ability. Now they obviously have something else that keeps them moving forward. And Rob Lowe takes the basketball to the hoop right there. Yeah, no, we have certain guys around this league that we have on our list that, you know, if he's guarding you, you got green light to go at him. So.
Name some names?
Nah, no names, man. I'm gonna keep that one close to the chest. I'm gonna keep that one close to the chest.
Tell me I had to ask.
Yeah, nice try.
Nice try, Liam. Keep working on those. Here's McVeigh. Tough shot. Got the front of the rim, but found a way home. And Jack McVeigh adds another 2 to have Tassie breathing right down Melbourne's neck at the moment. Started this quarter with Melbourne on top by 2. Got it out to as many as 7. Back to 1 here. Shot clock 7 seconds inside the game clock. As Illy, Traff picks up the dribble. Now finds a passing lane. Travers fires quickly. He's well short. There's 2 points in the game so far for Luke Travers on 1 of 5 shooting. And the last play of the half, it comes to Crawford, who started on fire. Couldn't finish it on the buzzer there, though. But a terrific first half in terms of a contest. It's a 1-point ball game. Melbourne 36, lead Tassie 35.
Well, it's a low-scoring affair so far, fellas. It's been in the teens each of these quarters, but it's a close contest, and it's being tightly battled out at both ends of the floor. Both teams shooting sub 40% from the field. It's a bit of a grind in that regard, but we knew it was going to be close. We knew it was going to be an arm wrestle, and that's what we've got.
Absolutely. A lot of fun to watch. Obviously getting a chance to see Jordan Crawford get to it, as well as Chris Golding, but we'll see what happens in the second half if they can open it up.
Let's get some reaction courtside to Leonard Copeland.
Jordan, you look like you're having a lot of fun out there. What do you guys need to do to get this win in the second half?
Defense, play Jackie basketball, making the grind.
You guys, the way you're shooting the ball, can you continue to play the way you're playing?
Yeah, it's not about the offensive end, it's all about the defensive end. You know, it's going to be days we not make shots, but we always can play defense.
Fantastic. Good luck in the second half.
13 points for Jordan Crawford at halftime. Golding has 12 for Melbourne. We've got an arm wrestle right here from John Cain Arena. Melbourne 36, Tassie 35. More after this.
Try to get right in front of your face, just a big clap.
For Travers, look out! Kicks it out for Travers. Big time hit from the youngster. Coming of age, Luke Travers before our eyes.
Wearing a Melbourne United jersey, it's definitely different for sure. Like just going into my first game with Delhi, CG, Rob, all those guys was a different experience, but it's cool. Like the limits are endless for our group. It's going to be a good season.
And that man there, Luke Travers, he is a star in the making.
It was really hard. Obviously, like Perth is home, and I grew up there and played the last 4 years there. But at the end of the day, I needed to take my game to the next level. And learning from Dean, he's obviously been around for so long and had so much success in the league, and he just gets the best out of his players. So obviously, you've seen with Jack White and Jock and all that, and like it just sort of speaks for itself. The biggest thing for me is consistency for sure. Obviously, guys talk about, seeing glimpses and stuff like that, and to be able to, do it for a full season is something that I'm looking to do. I think that'll be the biggest part of it to, project me to that next level as well.
Well, there's a few more exciting futures in the league than Luke Travers, not necessarily having his best game in the first half tonight. It's a 1-point slim lead for Melbourne United, but we've had a pretty action-packed first half, all things considered.
Absolutely, and like we said before, the JackJumpers aren't going anywhere. They love this venue. They come in with plenty of confidence, and Melbourne better play better.
There is no fear in the eye of the JackJumper. Let's have a look at the Hungry Jacks halftime highlights here. Jordan Crawford lit it up in the first quarter, 8 points, the first 8 points of the game, and he's kept that going in the second.
We joked around about them bringing in small guys, but this guy's a veteran. He knows how to play the game. And he got hot early, and Roth went to him and said, keep shooting that ball and get us where we need to go.
Don't you drag me down saying he was small. That was you saying you would have posted him up. He's been the excitement backer right now for the JackJumpers, who, as we said, they just don't fear anyone in this league or wherever they're playing. We look at the Blackmore shot chart here. Jordan Crawford, 13 points, of course 8 in that first quarter alone, but he's hitting them from all over.
He is 5 for 10 from the field, 2 for 6 from the three-point line. But you know what I like about him? He's calm. He doesn't rush. No one rushes him. He gets his shots where he needs to. He finds other guys when they're open. I love the way he plays.
Well, Jordan Crawford sort of has the run of the mill with the JackJumpers offense. He can get his shots where he needs them. Someone who's used to doing that is Chris Golding. But with this new look roster, he isn't exactly able to have the amount of shot production he usually does. But when he goes 4 for 7 like this, he's still able to get that big point production.
Absolutely. Look, and like you said, because the team is so packed, it's hard for him to get those minutes. You got minutes that you can produce. The way he's playing now, I'm going to find minutes for him. Somebody has to suffer, because if he's knocking the ball down like that, Melbourne United are untouchable.
Well, Dean Vickerman will certainly find the minutes of the best available, but we touched at halftime with ESPN insider Olga Ulich about the Aaron Baines incident. Now, we just want to touch on that again and have a look at the footage here. You can see, now you're a player, you've been the white line fever. He was incensed on court, and look, we don't know exactly what happened in the tunnel, but your early thoughts on this one, Leonard?
I just think, look, those guys it's 2 Queensland teams going at it. You got to have calmer heads, because this game's over. You want to be able to play the next game. You don't want to get suspended. That's going to hurt your team.
Well, the thing about Aaron Baines is what makes him so great is the fact that he has this white line fever and he goes hard. sometimes that can spill over, and so is Adam Ford. He's a guy that protects his player at all costs.
It's okay to have white line fever, but when you're that big, you need a lot of guys holding your back. You know what I mean?
It is. We hope all parties are okay in this. There's going to be more to play out. But we've got a second half coming up here. A 1-point lead to Melbourne United. Plenty more to come.
Great to have your company on a Sunday afternoon here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. We're live from John Cain Arena, where Melbourne United enjoy a 1-point lead at the moment with a great arm wrestle against Tassie. And Luke Travers, one of the new features this year for Melbourne United, burst onto the scene with 20 points, 8 rebounds in the opening game against Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and continued having influence in this game as well.
Yeah, he's versatile, and he can just contribute in so many different ways. Now, he didn't have a massive first half. We spoke about the matchup between Travers and McVeigh pre-game. Neither have really been able to impose their will on the game, but both going to need to keep each other under wraps in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jack has done a good job of mixing it up and being aggressive and getting shots that he wants to take. But Travers on the other end just has to continue to make it tough for him to get baskets.
McVeigh, one of the former 36ers, and of course straight after this game we're off to Sydney where the Kings will host Adelaide. Both teams desperate for a win. The Kings losing in Tassie on Friday night by 8. Adelaide losing in Perth by 7. Adelaide and the underdogs going in against the home team. They go 0-4. First time that's happened in the NBL in 21 years that they have started the season like that. And if you think back, you probably need 16 wins to make playoffs. We shouldn't be speaking playoffs in round 2, I know,
early,
but
it's early.
That's 12 losses. Now, if they're 0-4, that means you can only afford to lose another 8 games for the rest of the year. That's the sort of grim picture that it paints for Adelaide, and still without an importer. Though, speaking to CJ Bruton in Perth on Friday night, he was optimistic that they would have a player here next week. And it seems as though they need one very quickly, because tough schedule, tough position with personnel, a lot of pressure, haven't made playoffs for 5 years. Adelaide under the pump at the moment.
They need to turn it around. It's going to start defensively for them, but also they need that other import to come in and be a really good scoring threat, I think, for this Adelaide 36ers team.
Funny thing about Adelaide case is, you know, that 15 zip up in that first game against Brisbane, it fell away. But then they were right in that game against Melbourne.
Led by 5 in the last quarter.
And they were right in that game against Perth. Showed some good resilience to fight back. So
sure did.
Yeah, that next player, an impact guy to kind of put them over the top.
Fine line, isn't it? And their defense has been good in terms of restricting teams to losing scores. They just haven't been able to mount a winning score of their own. As we get underway in the second half, Melbourne on top by 1. And oh boy, well, that's not exactly what Tassie didn't need. Lee with a soft foul, his 3rd in the game.
And he's just not careful enough in those types of situations. And the challenge for him, the difficult thing is, he's a drops big. And for Scott Roth, he wants you to hard show. And it's not something Marcus Lee's particularly comfortable with. He's picked up 2 fouls guarding that way.
But also, too, Liam, you said it. You got to take away the opportunities to foul. You know, you have to be more careful. You have to be more conscious of the fact that you are being out there and you're getting all these fouls very quickly. You got to change how you're playing.
You know, it's funny, Sauce, we talk a lot about the transition for big guys coming into the NBL and getting used to the way bigs are officiated. How did you find that to begin last season?
Extremely difficult. I'm a physical big who likes to hit and push and grab and do all those things that I kind of try to get away with as Milton Doyle gets downhill. Misses the basket there, but Luke Travers back in transition. It's something that takes an adjustment period. Now, obviously, Marcus has had the experience playing with United last season, and you would think that he would have learned from last year's mistakes, but it doesn't look like he's doing so right now. So
he needs to adjust quickly, because that is a real difficult situation now for Scott Roth, and he's rolling the dice here, leaving him out there for the moment. If he picks up another one, then that's going to be diabolical for them.
I guess Scott probably thinks, you know, he needs to start to learn how to play, as you were saying, Sauce, play without fouling. Maybe giving him the opportunity to play through this type of situation can expedite that process.
So a minute played here in the second half. The grind continues. Neither team yet to get any points. McVeigh having a slow night. Now 2 of 7 from the field. Outside Crawford off the mark as well. Dellavedova, Ilian support. But Tassie get back in numbers to prevent anything happening quickly. Dellavedova wants to go on with it, and reaching him, foul's going to be called here on Drimmick, I believe.
It's gone on Drimmick, as you say, Case, and tough whistle. Man, Delly was trying to create something out of nothing there, and Drimmick, he can't believe it. Now, Scott Roth still has his challenge. They could have used it if they want, but looked like a whole bunch of ball from our perspective, which admittedly is quite a fair distance away.
Absolutely.
But I like the aggression from Dellavedova. It's perhaps something we didn't see last year, where he was happier to pull that out earlier and kick and facilitate. Well, now he's going to take them on. Brendan Favola, one of the celebs in the house here, big basketball fan. Played a bit of footy in his day as well. But Delhi's been getting to the free throw line. 5 of 8 in the first 2 games coming into this game. And now 1 of 2, so miss was the first of the game for Melbourne after hitting their first 5. But they've eked out a 2-point advantage. Biggest lead we've seen in the game is 7 for Melbourne during the second quarter, and 5 in the opening quarter. There's Crawford exploring. Goes to Doyle, who from outside got it short. Hawkporty grabs the rebound. Number 6 for him in that category. And again, Dellavedova aggressive against Doyle. Feeds Travers. Golding going back door. Here's Illy. Shot clock to 10 for Melbourne United. And Illy decides to fire. And it's all the bottom of the net as he knocks down his first 3.
Well, it's always a decision for teams. Shea Illy, do we go over or do we go under? And the defense there went to slip under, and it opened enough space for him to get that off. What are your conversations with Shea Illy, Sauce? You get the replay here of Travers sending McVeigh away.
Yeah, no, with a guy like Shea Ili, there's certain players that you can mix it up with. He's one of those mix-it-up guys. You'll go under a couple of times, and you'll mix it up over a couple of times, and, you know, you just try to make them think about it. And there, you paid for it, but maybe next time down, you don't have to. So.
Well, Doyle, tough shot, makes it work. Adds to his tally now with 9 in the game. And Crawford with 13 has more for Tassie. Ili goes coast to coast, a little out of control, but the teardrop falls.
Now that's something he can definitely do every time, and we try to keep away from. He's relentless getting downhill to the basket and finishing with the right hand.
Crafty from Crawford. Just lulled Luke Travers to sleep and made him pay, kissing it off the glass.
Dellavedova feeds Porty against Lee, playing with those 3 fouls. Can't prevent him from adding another 2, so 9 in the game now for Ariel Porty on 4 of 5 shooting.
Sweet move by the big man, showing off his touch, an area of his game that he's not necessarily known for, but to get out there and knock down that turnaround is big time for him in his future.
Trimick getting good use of getting Golding out of the way there and coming up with the finish. 4 in the game now, Trimick. Margin cut to 3. Middle stages of the third. Dellavedova thought he was fouled. Chris Reed didn't see it that way. Now we do have a whistle. And a foul going to be called on Trimick.
So Golding and Trimick colliding at either end of the floor. This is the take from Trimick, and the little shoulder in sends Golding to the deck, and then they go right back at it down the other end.
$11 fouls in total called on the JackJumpers now, including 3 in this quarter. Melbourne yet to commit a foul since half-time. Shot clock at 5. Ili needs to get busy here against Doyle. Now switches over McVeigh. Playing good D against him, forced him into a tough shot. So the Tassie's JackJumpers D was up to the challenge there. They need some offense at the moment. Just 6 points in almost 4 minutes of play here since half-time. Crawford exploring, nothing on offer initially. Shot clock to 10. Picks up the dribble inside. They kick it outside. McVeigh fires and comes up with a 3, his first of the game.
And inside out there's some easy baskets. I don't think either team has had too many easy baskets today, which is why we haven't seen a run be established tonight. And so easy baskets inside out right there from Krisovitz to McVeigh is going to be the key to success in spreading this game open for either one of these 2 teams.
Ili hands over. Porty. Once Golding. In the back, Clark, lob pass inside of Porty. Heard the call from Scott Roth. He thought there was movement. Just didn't see it that way. Charging off with the ball there. Krislovic for Doyle. Starting to get some momentum here, Tassie, and they're back in front.
They're in a groove. This game, this quarter so far, completely played on Tassie's basis. The tempo is exactly where they like it. It's a bit of a walk-it-up situation. The ball moves through hands, bang, bang, as you say, Sauce, the kick-out 3. And then this is Milton Doyle well and truly in his bag, just striding his way into a mid-range pull-up.
They've only outscored them 11-8 in this quarter to take the lead, but it feels a little bit more of an advantage than that as we go courtside to Felix von Hoff.
At least on the basketball court behind us is AFL legend Brendan Favola. Welcome, first off.
Yeah, it's good to be here, and I did play in a celebrity Melbourne United game last week, and I was awful, so they do it way better than what I do.
Well, I also saw a video online of you put the little, you're a girl dad, of course, you've got them all with you at the game. You put the little one up to dunk it. Archie Thompson, tell us what, give Archie Thompson a shout out.
Yeah, Archie Thompson rejected my daughter, who's 4, having a shot in the last quarter and absolutely broke her. He's a cruel man.
Well, you hear that, Archie. We'll have to get you out here to replay it. But obviously, you're a girl there. What's the atmosphere like here, bringing the whole family sitting courtside?
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. It's great for kids. We know, put on a big show, sold out. Just got to get the ball to CG a little bit more. He's cooking. Dellavedova's got to start passing it and stop shooting it and give it to the shooters.
He's scoring the ball at a good rate.
Huh?
Dellavedova's scoring the ball this year. He's up and about.
Assist, make your teammates better.
Well, you hear that, Dellavedova? Dean Vickerman, don't listen. Bev's going to tell you what to do from now on. We've got it. Anyways, throw him back up to you boys.
Thanks very much, Felix. Yeah, Melbourne United do a great job with the grassroots as well, don't they? Over 2,000 juniors at the game today, representing 30 different associations. So shout out to them. Trust they're enjoying what is a great day's entertainment. Sport and entertainment collide here. From outside, Tanner Krebs comes up with his first points in the game.
Inside out there, Hork-Porty doing what he didn't do in the first half, being patient on that short roll and finding the open shooter for three.
So a point the difference. It's where we started this quarter. 5 minutes played in term number 3. And reaching, Hork-Porty's going to be called for the foul there against Drimmick. So that's going to be his third personal.
15, hit, 2. Let's go, guys.
Yeah, good advice there from Hork-Porty was well and truly out of position, trying to come across kind of violently from behind. And an easy whistle for the official.
That play there starts with Drimmick's aggressiveness. Again, he had the matchup that he thought was favorable, went downhill and drew the foul.
8th year in the NBL for Anthony Drimmick, Rookie of the Year back in 2017. 73% free throw shooter last season. And hasn't missed a free throw this season. That's 3 out of 3 for him. So, but he's certainly been a good acquisition for Tassie.
Sauce, what do you think about Fev's theory? Did Dean Vickerman should adopt the find CG approach?
Definitely find CG, but I do think that Deladova has to get some more shots up. He's been really hot for him to start the year, and he's kind of what makes them go right now. So he's got to get more shots up, but CG is never a bad option.
They've got to find a happy medium, don't they? Because, look, we've played 5.5 minutes here, and Golding hasn't taken a shot in this quarter, and that's not enough, but that's pretty impressive. Hork-Porty throwing it down. Has now got double figures.
Oh, he's a target. Beautiful find from Shaili. That's easy action. It's not rocket science. Pick and roll. You've got a lob threat. Throw it up to the big fella.
Here's Crawford trying to shake Krebs. Wasn't buying it. McVeigh, Drimmick. Shot clock to 7. Good hustling D here from Melbourne, giving Tassie nothing easy. Golding, good defensive stance. They forced McVeigh away from the hoop and he couldn't finish it. 40 snatches the rebound. And the ball out of court. So turnover number 7 now for Melbourne. Had 4 of those in the first quarter, though.
Harvey number replay here. We got Shea Illy going the ball up to Ariel Hork-Porty. Next star, Ariel Hork-Porty for the slam. That's something he's going to be doing a lot on NBA basketball courts here in the future. And we're really glad to be able to see it here in the NBL this year.
Sauce, you played in the association. He's vaulted back up into consideration right now, sitting at 55 on ESPN's latest mock draft. You see an NBA future for Ariel Hork-Porty?
I do. I just think he has an unbelievable motor. He's relentless on the offensive glass and on the defensive glass, and he runs the floor better than probably anybody I've seen his size do in a long time. So I definitely think the future is very bright, and Melbourne United have a good one in it.
Doyle forced into a tough shot with the shot clock expiring. Clark turns down the look. Deladova got in the air there, and the pass intended for low took us out of court, so they've turned it over again in an ugly fashion.
Fev's in his head.
He's listening to Fev there.
Oh, no. He's sitting courtside, and he's in Delhi's head.
Speaking of the next starts, I heard the conversation last night about Bobby Clintman maybe being the best at the moment, ahead of Hork-Porty, ahead of Alex Sarr. I saw Perth on Friday night, and Alex Sarr looked pretty good to me.
Well, there's so many different ways to look at it, Case, right? Like what production they're providing their NBL team right now as Krislovic is met at the rim by Tanner Krebs. And Clark finishes the teardrop in transition. And then from a scouting perspective, what kind of prospect the guy is now. Alex Sarr, man, he's in the conversation to be the #1 overall pick. But Bobby, from a lottery pick perspective, has well and truly impressed in these last couple of games.
Doyle off the mark. Tip in will be waved off there by Krislovic, just getting into the back of Deladova. So the foul's going to be called on the JackJumpers. That's their 5th foul in this quarter. But it was an offensive foul.
See here on the floater from Doyle, Krislovic just comes in and not a lot there. I think Delhi might have done a good job of selling it a little bit, but yeah, really surprised with how physical this game has been that one was called at that moment. So.
Second personal on Krislovic. So inside the last 3 minutes of the third. Big game for Melbourne United as they look to go 3-0 to start the season for the first time since 2021. Low inside, kicks to Krebs. He takes them on and muscles up to come up with a finish as well. He's got 5 on 2 of 2 shooting.
He's playing a nice role. Nice roll off the bench, Tanner Krebs, to begin this season. Of course, Taswegian, born and bred down there, as Majuk Deng lines one up from long range.
As we hear Coach Vickerman screaming, knowing what Majuk Deng likes to do is that pick and pop, and just to not cover it is inexplicable.
That's Rob Lowe. He's athletic for a big man, and he's able to keep balance from close range and put the finishing touches on there. Coming off a remarkable season in the New Zealand Basketball League as well, where he's a dominant force, and what a pickup he's been for Melbourne, playing as an injury replacement for Joe Luala-Chul, who should return, in fact, in the game against Tassie in 3 weeks. It's the time frame for Big Joe. Here's Dellavedova again wanting to be aggressive and get up the floor quickly. Low kicks them on, draws contact, off to the free throw line.
Look, if Delhi feels the contact, he's just going to work his way through it, because he knows he's either got you on his hip and he can keep you there, or he's going to get a whistle. So he bodies up with Sean McDonald, times the drop-off nicely, and Krislovic not quite able to get across to draw the offensive foul.
So Rob Lowe to the free throw line. 2 of 2 coming into this game. Only 56% free throw shooter with the Breakers last season. As I mentioned, played with Auckland in the New Zealand Basketball League and averaged 20 and 11. 2 blocks, 2 steals, was MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, All-Star 5. Into retirement, although gladly, happily for us, he's out of retirement for the moment. So Melbourne by 5, they just continue to wrestle their way ahead of Tassie. Tassie's D's been able to keep them close enough that if they can make shots, they're right in the frame. On this occasion, they can't. Travers off and running. And outside, they get a look here for Ian Clark, and he knocks down the 3. We've got a game-high lead here. It's 8 points in favour of Melbourne.
And that's what he brings to this Melbourne United club, is a shot maker, an experienced guy that in games like this would grind out, as we see Junior Badu get to the mid-range there and knock down a shot. He can kind of open the game up for you, create a shot, create a pass, and do good things that contribute to winning. So that's what Ian Clark brings for Melbourne United.
9 points on 2 of 2 shooting. He's knocked down a 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. This is a much better fit at United than it was in Adelaide for Ian Clark last season. We'll see how that unfolds. Krebs came up empty under pressure. Lowe is there for the clean-up too. And right now this is getting away from Tassie because the margin grows once more. So Crawford with it. Shot clock 3 seconds inside the game clock as we head toward 3-quarter time. Crawford had 10 in the opening quarter. And it's 15 at the moment. Against Lowe in a mismatch. Just to get by him to the baseline. Lowe's recovery was excellent. Rejected the shot. Gets to Dellavedova, who shoots from half court. Couldn't get enough on it. But we get to 3-quarter time, and Melbourne United, who are looking to start the season on a 3-0 record, enjoy an 8-point lead. With a quarter to play, it's Melbourne 61, Tassie 53. And welcome back to John Cain Arena. Great to have your company here on a Sunday afternoon in the Hungry Jacks NBL. And a Melbourne United fan of the game. Well, how about this from young Indiana Brandy? Is our fan of the game, picks up a signed basketball. And should be very happy with that. All Melbourne home games this season, they're doing that. Maybe the other team should jump on board and give away a signed ball. Why not? Keep the fans happy.
Makes sense. And you know what else keeps the fans happy? A scoring run. Melbourne United, things were starting to maybe go a little in Tassie's direction early in that quarter. And then 17-7, Melbourne outscore them in the last 5. And it was the first quarter any team here has scored over 20. They poured in 25 in that term and now up to 40% from 3. So that's helped them step out to this 8-point buffer.
So a little bit of pressure now on the Tassie JackJumpers, and Milton Doyle's aware of that as he adds to his tally now with 13 points in the game after being scoreless in the opening quarter.
And that's something you know Milton Doyle's always going to do, is cut that water off. Obviously, we talked about the 17-7 run there to end the quarter, but to come out at the beginning of this fourth quarter and get the ball in your best player's hand, it's a great way to start for Tassie.
Good start. Rob Lowe as well, and Melbourne United, so he's into double figures, joining Hook Porty and Chris Golding in that category for Melbourne. So got the answers at the moment, and a game-high 9-point lead with 9 minutes to play, Melbourne. Again, they go to Doyle. He's well short with the attempt. Gene Vickman in the background wanting his team to get up the floor quickly as Illy uses Travers. Now switches down low, gives it back to Clark. Post up Travers on the shoulder. Crawford goes to work and coming in. Wow. Marcus Lee.
And that's number 4 on Marcus Lee as he comes across to try to block Travers. And just patient, smart offense from Melbourne United. They get the switch. They got Travers on Crawford down low, and they go right at him.
And I'm sure Tassie's coverage there is, if Crawford gets switched onto any of the bigger guys, is to have that big B over there a little bit earlier. And again, Marcus Lee just in bad positioning defensively and draws a foul there. Should be there earlier on that double.
First trip to the free throw line for Luke Travers in the game. 5 of 7 at 71% through the opening round. We've got 9 scorers in the game, Melbourne. Contributions across the board. And the margin continues to grow here. So into double figures for the first time in the game. 5-2 start to this quarter. Crawford works to an opening. Dried up in terms of his outside shooting. Longer the game has gone. His first 2, and now he's none of 6 since that opening quarter. And Shea Illy at the other end. History not far away, but Travers flying upstairs for the excellent finish.
And there he is, Mr. Do Everything for United. Just coming in on offensive glass after making a great pass out to a shooter. Finishes the job off with a slam dunk. Love to see it.
Here's Doyle. Got it from Crawford. Ran into Travers, doing it at both ends of the floor at the moment. Shot clock to 6. Foul going to be called here on Tanner Krebs. Going to be his first personal.
Here's the Harvey Norman replay. Just beautifully timed by Travers. It's set up perfectly for him. No block out, off the rim. Easy finish over the top.
So Doyle gets it back from Chris Levick. 7 points for Jack McVeigh in the game on 3 of 10 shooting. They need to find another offensive threat as well, because Doyle's a lone hand at the moment. Well done, McVeigh, to scurry after that and keep it alive. Now Crawford gets a look, and he knocks down the 3.
Those are the spark plays you need there, Case. You need to dive on the floor and get a loose ball to try to get this thing going. Tassie aren't out of this game, but it is slipping away from them quickly, so they need to do something.
Good hustle from Jack McVeigh. Contribute any way he can. Clark has been excellent at his debut for Melbourne, and now he's into double figures. 11 points on 3 of 3.
And doing exactly what you talked about earlier, Source. Just coming in off the bench and ticking that scoreboard over. Comes in, gives you double-digit contribution. And as McVeigh finishes the lefty runner, they need stops, Tassie. In the second half, Melbourne have really been able to find their groove offensively. And there's no point trading buckets from here for Tasmania. Got to start piecing some stops together.
Yeah, it's 9-7 in this quarter. To underscore your point there, Lamb. 25 in that third quarter from Melbourne after they were restricted to 18 in the first and second quarters. This time Clark off the mark, play looking to keep it alive. And foul's going to be called on Sean McDonald. You hear Scott Roth in the background. I want to challenge this because he thought that there was Lowe getting into his back, but it's 70-60 at the moment, a 10-point lead for Melbourne United.
Yeah, so waiting to see. I'm not sure if there is a challenge in place here, because I don't think he would win it just quietly. Yes, you could have whistled that the other way, and he could have gone on Rob Lowe over the top, but it went to the other way. And for this that Tasmanian group right there, they're all. This conversation is about how they can start to get some stops. Melbourne United have been able to get their three-point game going in this second half. You know, up to 40% from three. Yep. They've got 9 knockdowns now. They were inefficient early. Now they're nearly 50% from the field, nearly 40% from three, over 80% from the line. They're in their comfort zone.
And no doubt that Scott Roth right now is telling his guys, we got to secure the defensive rebound. If we continue to allow United to get old boards over and over again, it's going to end up being bad for us.
The game on at Melbourne John Cain Arena at the moment. United up by 10 over Tassie, and there is the pumped by Reebok influencer of the game, if you like, and it's certainly someone who knows how to produce the goods in the sporting arena as well. Annabelle Smith, a triple Olympian, 4-time Commonwealth Games diver and medalist as well, and she's been on the campaign for Australia for 13 years, and that takes a lot of dedication. That long in that type of sport where it's such a fine line. Great to have her as part of the NBL team as well. Reminder, we're off to Sydney to see the Kings against the Adelaide 36ers after this game. And the restart eventually from Melbourne United to Travers. So tick over 3 minutes played in this final quarter, and Travers rolling to the hoop, muscles his way in close, couldn't finish it. Well done, McVeigh, just walled up against him.
He's missed some bunnies this afternoon, Travers. Matt, that's maybe his third one right at the rim, very makeable, that have gone begging.
Just 2 of 9 from the field. Crawford off the mark. Daly looking to explore again. Porty there with him now. Travers joining in. Payne. Nothing on offer initially, so they retreat back to Dellavedova. They look inside. Porty was patient with it, danced around Crawford and came up with the finishing touches. So he's got 13 on 6 of 7 shooting.
With that high show defensively that Tassie's doing, it creates a lot of space on the back end. Crawford there is supposed to be in front of Porty and stop him from getting to the basket, but obviously there's a massive size difference, and Porty takes advantage of that.
Well done Golding at the defensive end there to prevent Krislovic from knocking down the shot. Golding still yet to take a shot of his own in the second half. It's 4 of 7 at half-time from deep, Chris Golding, and remains 4 of 7. So they're doing it without his offensive input. They lead by 12, so they're getting the job done, although Doyle adds to his tally. Now up to 16 as he knocks down just his second 3 of the game from 10 attempts.
Dean Vickerman is incensed. He knows it's Milton Doyle kind of time here, midway through the fourth quarter, and Ariel Porty not carrying a hand to the danger man.
Hand down, man down, as they say, Liam.
Red numbers on the shot clock, whistle on the play as well, and Travers wheeled out of there.
Go one, push.
Now here's that action before Source, that hard show from Jack McVeigh.
Here it is, showing hard there. Supposed to have the weak side help there from Crawford. He flies by, isn't solid. Porty waits for him to go and finishes at the basket for
Deliberate by Melbourne to have Crawford isolated as that help man down low.
Absolutely. You want the smallest guy to be on that weak side on the single side so that you don't have the double help there. And that's a perfect example of executing it to a T.
So the foul was called on Jordan Crawford. It's his 3rd personal.
With an arm to the gutter of Travers.
Ken Witchin, the referee there, involved as well. One of the new recruits for the NBL from the G League. It's going to be here for a couple of years, and we're just looking at whether or not there needs to be an upgrade on this. Crawford and Travers, as you can see, just caught him around the solar plex. Didn't appear a lot in it initially, but the arm was extended.
No, surely not.
I would hope not. You know, you're not supposed to let a cutter just walk right past you. You're supposed to put, what did they call it? Oh, man. It's just playing physical. This is a tough physical game.
So it was called a foul. Okay. They reviewed it for excessive contact. And no, just going to be a regular foul.
As it should be. That's just part of basketball. Don't let your cutter get by. You give him a little check every once in a while.
Dellavedova fires, flat looking three. Couldn't get enough on it. A chance now for Tassie to run. They haven't had many chances at that in this game. And look at Melbourne get back in numbers as well. They find Doyle once more, and he fills it up for another triple to keep them alive.
And again, you can hear Vickerman in the background losing his marbles at the prospect of Milton Doyle being left alone on the arc.
19 in the game now for Doyle. Back-to-back threes from him. The margin's been cut in half. Dellavedova's skip pass for Clark. Asked a lot of him. He kept it alive. Here's Golden. We might get his first shot since half-time here. The shot clock about to go off in the background. And McDonald was right there in his face and did a good job.
Excellent job there of extending United, making them play on their back foot, and creating a tough shot at the end of the shot clock.
So they got the stop, though, after Tassie. Now looking to do something at the offensive end. Inside the last 4 minutes, it's McVeigh. Tassie have scored the last 8. Dean Vickerman's had enough. They're back to within 4.
They just won't go away. Tasmania, they game in, game out. When the going gets tough, and I always call them Sauce. I call this team the best crunch time team in the NBL, because when it gets to crunch time and the game slows down, they just execute the way that they always have. All game long, the previous game, the game before that, they continue to just move the ball and find good shots. And here, McVeigh, the running hook after the back-to-back Milton Doyle three.
Yeah, Liam, they go to what works. They go to the well. They understand who they are. They never stray too far away from that. Milton Doyle is your guy, so he's going to get open shots. That's what you want to have. If you get a switch and have Jack McVeigh on the block with CG guarding him, that's something they want to exploit and get after.
This has been entertaining. Great game. As you can see, tight affair. Of course, we're off to Sydney next up to see the Kings and the Adelaide 36ers go at it. And we've already told you about the importance of this game for both teams.
Big game. Of course, the 36ers desperately trying to get their first win on the board. And the Kings, as you mentioned earlier, Kaz, coming off that loss to Tassie. Sauce, we talk about the execution for Tassie. How do you feel about Melbourne United? Chris Golding, 4 of 7 from 3 at halftime. We heard from Feb in that third quarter. He said, get him more shots. And right there, he takes his first look at the second half. How did I get him more involved?
Yeah, and it was an erratic late clock three with a hand and a high contestant, so that's definitely not what you want for him. Now you are probably going to see some stagger action with him coming off of some movement to create some open looks for him, or they go back to that ball screen with either Harcourty or Travers and play in that short roll, hoping to open up shooters on the corners.
Leonard Copeland was listening in the Melbourne huddle. What have you got for us, LC?
Well, Dean Vickerman wasn't happy. He said, these guys, we got to play better defense. We can't let these guys hang around because they feel very comfortable in this venue. We got to play stronger than that.
13-4 run, including the last 8 for Tassie in 5 minutes here. When it was getting away from them, they've dug deep and they're right back in the frame. So here's Golding against McDonald. Good screen from Harcourty, who rolls to the hoop. Excellent play.
There it is. Perfect example. You want easy baskets. Get a ball screen, have Harcourty driving to the rim. You know they're going to hard show, and it's going to be a lot of space for the big fella to finish.
Yeah, and again, it was created out of running action for Chris Golding. Didn't take the shot, but created the defensive attention that opened things up for Harcourty.
McVeigh off the mark. He's 1 of 5 from long range. And Tassie 10 of 32 overall from deep. So it's Melbourne in the driver's seat, up 6. Although Ely with problems there against Crawford. Shot clock to single digits. Harcourty with happy feet. Going to be called for violation. 3 seconds is the call.
Sorry, I was going to say we're talking about trying to get Chris Goulding involved. Copes, I know you feel very strongly about this, my man. What is the word out of that Melbourne United huddle about going at Goulding here down the stretch?
So look, this is one of those teams where they're loaded, so guys are going to take shots. But if a Goulding starts the way he started, certainly you got to look for him. You got to get him some shots, and he's one of those unselfish players where he just wants to win. You know, so I think at the end of the day, they got to try to find him a shot or two because you know he can knock it down.
You've got to go back at him right here. I mean, the first play out of the huddle, they run it for Goulding, easy bucket for 40. They didn't go back to the well the next possession.
First score for Marcus Lee there. Closed the margin to 4. Sealy taking them on. And now free throws to come. And Marcus Lee is going to pick up his 4th personal.
Marcus Lee is almost 7 feet tall. There's no reason to be reaching for the ball while Shea Illy still has it in his hands. Keep your hands up and defend it at the rim.
Shea Illy to the free throw line for the first time. He's been outstanding from the stripe. We've spoken about his shooting ills from the field, just 2 of 20 on the season coming into this game. And now it's extended after he hit 9 in a row in the first 2 games. And in fact, coming off the World Cup where he was top 10 in the competition in free throw shooting, he made 25 of 27 at the World Cup at 93%. He's also 3rd in assists at the World Cup. He put on a tremendous show for New Zealand. And right now Melbourne by 5, 2.5 to play. Got an arm wrestle here. It's been tight most of the afternoon. This is the 7th game of round 2 in the Hungry Jacks NBL. The previous 6 all decided by single digits. And we're heading in that direction again. McDonald picks up. Well done Goulding again. Denied a passing lane there to McVeigh. Forced them to go another route. But that route is actually Milton Doyle, and it's not a bad option.
If you're Ariel Porty at this point in time, you may want to be maybe 1 step higher up now because Milton Doyle's hit 3 threes, and you want to be up a little bit higher. And so you'll see, hopefully you see an adjustment there from United. Otherwise, you know, Milton Doyle can fill it up.
He's had 11 points in this quarter. Out of the 20 that Tassie have come up with, and from outside the answering 3 for Clark is off the mark. Here's a chance for Tassie. They've won their last 3 games here against Melbourne. And Doyle's feeling it at the moment. That rattled around the rim and jumped out. And it's going to be a Tassie ball here. Travis had a foot on the line with the ball.
We talk about how smooth Milton Doyle is. Look at the way he just reads the defense from Ian Clark here and rejects the screen. And whips it behind his back. And so smooth and has that clutch gene flowing through his veins.
Milton Doyle's right in the conversation for MVP. You know, he was in that conversation a little bit last year, made the All-5 team, 17 points, 5 boards last year, and he just provides so much. And I think if he was on a bigger franchise or in a bigger city, then perhaps he'd probably get noticed a little bit more, but he is all class.
100%. And there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever he's the most valuable player for this team. They lean on him in a very, very big way, which was why he was such a highly anticipated re-signing. So he comes out, has 18 against Perth in the loss, but then 21 in the win over Sydney. He's got a game-high 22 right now. He just delivers game after game for this team.
And I think Tassie is the perfect place for him. We talk about if he was in a bigger market, potentially he'd be a bigger star in the league. But I think his demeanor and how he goes about his business on a daily basis really fits the Tassie JackJumpers system.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Sorts. Having been down there courtside and interviewed him post-game, he doesn't like to say a lot. And then you can see Danny Minogue in the house, and likewise Warwick Giddy is there. As though Nicole Bradkey there in the Melbourne United Legends box as well with her husband Mark, Warwick Giddy, and Stephen Hall might be a guest there today as well. Some of the legends, which is another great thing that Melbourne United do to acknowledge those former players.
Yes, there's some very, very big names, champions amongst them, multi-time champions. We saw Leroy in the building last night, Case.
Al Green and Mark Davis last week in Adelaide, but this is game on, and Doyle's turning it on and flushing it. Marcus Lee against his former team draws them level.
Doyle with the ball in his hand, something good is going to happen. And he shows just how unselfish he is as well. Right there, had an opportunity to shoot a layup, found Marcus Lee for the easy dunk instead.
20-7 is the run at the moment from Tasmania. They were down 13, 90 seconds into the last quarter. And now less than 90 seconds to play. There's a chance for them to steal the lead away. Oh, pinned on the glass. Defensive play from Hookporty, but it comes back to McVeigh. They can reset. Shot clock to red numbers now. Crawford decides to go solo. He's deep with it. He's now missed another three. Just 1 of 9 from deep after knocking down the first 2 of the game. Jordan Crawford. Penetration from Clark shut down by Lee, stolen by McVeigh. And a chance again for Tassie to retake the lead here.
2-for-1 opportunity here for Tassie. They missed it, so I guess they're going to go late clock here and try to just get the best available option.
Doyle's a good one at that. Shot clock rolls to single digits. Doyle gets away from the screen from Golding and knocks down another three. What a final quarter this has been from Milton Doyle. 14 points in the last quarter. He's dragged Tassie in front with 19 seconds to play.
Big time late game performance. And look, they hunt Chris Golding. They get the switch. They want him as that primary defender. Uses the ball screen. And Hookporty's just a step too low. You know he wants to rise up. He's been knocking it down over the course of these last 5-10 minutes. And that's a big-time shot to put his team up 3.
5 threes in the game for Doyle now, and 14 points in this quarter. Out of 25 that Tassie have come up with, they were down 13 with 8 minutes to play. And here they are in front. Team Vickerman and Melbourne United have got their hands full.
Well, the other thing is these last few possessions for Melbourne United, Golding hasn't touched it. They've used him as a floor spacer. It's been Illy, it's been Ian Clark just operating out of pick and roll and just using Golding as a guy to keep his defender attached. Run some action to get him involved. He's delivered for you in big moments for a very long time, and right now he's not getting the pill.
I'll also say this too, he's getting targeted a lot on the opposite end. There's nothing worse than getting targeted, and not being able to go back on the other end and get your lick back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be able to have the ball in your hands, impact the change, make the right pass, or make the three-pointer, especially if they're going at you at the other end.
19 on the clock, Source down by 3. Do you need a 3-ball here or a quick 2's a catch?
You got 43 on your team. The ball should be in his hands, and he should be shooting a 3.
Wow. Well, this has got it hot right at the end, hasn't it? Been a tight contest, and the fans have been composed for most of the game because Melbourne have led for most of the game. Led by as many as 5 in the first quarter, got it out to 7 in the second, 8 in the third, 13 here in the last quarter, and now they're behind, trying to find a way to tie it away. Here's Illy, slips against McDonald, picks up the dribble. Low, kicks it, Golding, they shut him down. Illy gets the look, he's off the mark, and Doyle grabs the rebound. Well, they got a good look there, Shea. Illy just couldn't get it done. 1 of 4 from long range, but that was good scrambling D from Tassie, denying Golding the shot to tie it.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely had the intention there of, we're going to pressure up, make it difficult. We're going to stay on Chris Golding. We're not going to relax, not going to relax. Even there, get a little bit scrambled. You pick your poison there. Who would I rather have shooting it? Shea Illy or Chris Golding? I think they made the right choice there.
So 6.6 left on the clock. Melbourne just 2 fouls in this quarter, so they've got fouls to give, which hurts them in this instance. Intelligently, Tassie going to start from the baseline, dangerously somewhat, some would say, but a quick whistle comes. So that's the 3rd team foul on Melbourne in this quarter. So still now to foul again before there's any likelihood of Tassie going to the free throw line. And again, they're going to play with a little bit of fire and take it in the backcourt. Scott Roth, one of the best coaches in the competition. What a fight back this has been. McDonald to restart. Nothing on offer to Crawford. Goes to Doyle. And whistle there. Foul's going to be called on Rob Lowe. His 4th personal. 4th team foul. Now on Melbourne.
I do find it bizarre that they're keeping it in the backcourt here. They've got a timeout remaining. Could call it and advance it. You throw this ball away, you give Melbourne an opportunity to catch and shoot and tie it up.
So 6 seconds on the clock. So they've done this well, Melbourne. Going to put it back to 6.5. That's how quick the whistle was. 1/10 of a second. So now they're going to the front court and they're going deep. And it's broken down there for Melbourne, the forced foul. So 3.8 on the clock. Jack McVeigh goes to the free throw line for the first time in the game. And a 77% free throw shooter last season.
And the other thing to keep in mind right here is that Melbourne have no timeouts remaining. So even if he misses these, Jack McVeigh, they got to go the full length of the floor. Or even no matter what, they got to go the full length of the floor to try to get a bucket.
Well, one will do it, really. McVeigh with a smile on his face. How about that from Jack McVeigh? Love the pressure, eat the pressure, bring the pressure.
And the way this whole fourth quarter kind of unfolded is exactly how Tasmania want their games to go. They want to hang around, and at the end, they got that guy on their team in Milton Doyle that can go out and win you the game.
So what a fight back this has been from Tasmania. They were down 13 in the last quarter, but they have prevailed here and won their last 4 games at Melbourne against United by 5 points. It's Tassie 80, Melbourne 75.
Well, a quintessential, resilient Jack Jumpers win. You can't put them away. You think you got him done and dusted. You're up double digits in the fourth. That man, Milton Doyle, is a bad man in those types of moments. Comes up clutch yet again, a game-high 25 points, just like he did the other night against Sydney. Big shot after big shot late. And the Jack Jumpers under Scott Roth have done this so many times. Just come up big in big moments and eke out a win.
Jackie basketball travels well. I'd say that. I know Jordan Crawford alluded to that in his halftime speech, but that's the idea of who they want to be. A hard-nosed team that can kill you in a multitude of ways, but more than anything is going to lock down defensively and make it a grind-out type of game, which they feel really comfortable in.
Yep, Liam mentioned it at the top of the program as well, the way they go about it. They're just never out of the game. A fantastic win for Tassie, who now move to 2-1. Let's get some reaction courtside. Our Foot Locker player of the game is standing by with Leonard Copeland.
Milton, you guys just seem to hang around and get the job done at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's the goal. Keep the defensive intensive on that end. Try to hang around, keep it close, and finish the game out with execution in the fourth.
You got to be the quietest superstar I've ever met, man. You don't talk, but you get the job done. What is it like playing under Scott Roth?
It's great. He let me play my game, and he's a player's coach. He knows what he wants out of his players, and he makes it easy.
Now, what is it going to take for you guys? I know it's early in the season, but what is it going to take for you guys to win the championship?
I think this right here, just playing full 40 minutes, executing at the end, everybody bringing something to the team, and I think we'll be in the championship.
Great game, Milton. Continued success. I'll see you next time. Thanks, man.
Milton Doyle with Leonard Copeland. More reaction now. Felix von Hoffers with Jack McVeigh.
Jumpers just getting in off their win here. We'll give Jack McVeigh a moment to just enjoy it with his teammates. I'm here with Jack Jumpers. Just Jack McVeigh, Jack Jumpers. This just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? You love it there.
Oh, I love it there, and I love watching Milton Doyle do his thing. I mean, to be his teammate, that's what it's all about.
And I even saw you smiling there as you're shooting those free throws. There is something so likable about this team.
Oh, we just play hard, man. It's a great group of dudes, and we just have fun playing one of the best games in the world, the best game in the world, basketball.
Oh, you better say that on this one right now. Now, I want to talk about how you guys are never scared wherever you play. You got one of the fiercest home court advantages over there at My State Bank Arena, but we mentioned in the pregame, this is a happy hunting ground for you, but everywhere's a happy hunting ground for the Jack Jumpers.
Oh, I mean, defense travels. That's what we pride ourselves on. And, you know, it comes down to the fourth quarter, and great players are going to make great plays, but you have to play defense to put yourself in that position, and we get to do that on the road.
That's where I struggled, wasn't it? But I'll tell you what, like your development personally as well, you know, you've gone from the Adelaide 36ers days. You story it a lot on Twitter as well. If anyone wants to jump on Twitter and check out Jack McVeigh's feed, it's amazing. Your development this year, you're looking to take another step now in the leadership group. How have you graded your season so far?
No, it's been all right. I mean, I can't buy a shot, but that's basketball. It's the other things, the controllables, and I feel like I am taking those continuous steps forwards. You know, it's the daily habits, it's the little things, and it's great guys challenging me every day, and I'm just having fun out there.
Perfect, mate. Well, we thank you for joining us. You've been absolutely unbelievable. There's more to come with Jack McVeigh. Back to you, Case.
Thanks very much, Felix. Yeah, Jack McVeigh just selling himself a little bit short. Had 6 of his 13 in the last quarter when they had to find a way, and it was him source that we saw scrambling on the floor just to get another possession when he missed a shot that was able to keep their run going.
Still able to impact the game without scoring the basketball. And obviously, he felt that he didn't shoot the ball as great as he could, but he dove on the ball, he made the right pass, and he took advantage of the opportunities that the defense gave him.
Melbourne burst out of the blocks in the last quarter with a 7-2 run. Liam got up by 13. They wouldn't be denied the Jack Jumpers. We take a look at the Hungry Jacks highlights in the second half.
Yeah, it was at that point that they really needed to get going, Tasmania, and lock in defensively, get some stops, because Melbourne was starting to really get on top, and that's what they did. They were able to keep Melbourne to just 14 in that final term in the end, so they fully put the clamps on from that point, and Milton Doyle was massive down the stretch. 14 of his 25 points in the final quarter as he just came up with big plays. That was a big one from McVeigh, and they were starting to get a little amped. And then Doyle, brilliance down the stretch, getting to his sweet spots and making good decisions. Sometimes the pull-up, sometimes the drop-off, and this one was particularly huge to put the Jack Jumpers ahead, and they win it by 5.
How about that? They were 7th on the ladder coming in, Tassie. They're now 2-1, the same as Melbourne are 2-1, who are undefeated on top of the ladder. So it tightens up very quickly. Great to have Alan Williams on board today. Really enjoyed your coverage, and hope to see you again soon.
Can't wait. Thanks for having me.
And Liam Santa Maria, always good to chat with you as well. Great job, and trust you've enjoyed it. And it is a big win for Melbourne. Felix Van Hoff and Leonard Copeland courtside are going to wrap this up when we come back after this to tell you about how Melbourne lost this game and how Tasmania won the game. It's 80-75, the Jack Jumpers.